Good afternoon, everyone. We hope you can hear us and see us. Thank you for joining today's workshop, the NEUROCLIMA Forum workshop, Climate Change Deliberations. We are delighted to have you today here with us. My name is Marina Deliani, and I'm the Training and Community Manager at Verimpact. And in this interactive session, we will explore the Deliberate platform, a new digital space enabling inclusive, evidence-based climate policy discussions. But before we start, I would like to remind you to keep your microphones muted during the presentations to reduce the background noises. Also, this session is being recorded, and after the session, we will send it to you. You can add your questions on the chat box, and I think we're ready to start. Let me introduce you to our team. Odysseus, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Marina. Welcome, everyone. So today we have a pretty short webinar, so it will not take more than 1 hour, and we need your attention, and we need your comments, and we need your responses to a few questions that we're going to ask. First, we have Ioannis, who will present the deliberation platform. So it's a short presentation and a demo. And then we have Stefanos Alevizos from IASIS, who will present. What are you going to present, Stefanos, again?
Okay, it would be nice also to introduce myself. Thank you for this opportunity. So I'm Stefanos Alevizos. I'm a psychologist, postdoctoral researcher at Pantheon University and IASIS. And as you imagine, as psychologists, I'm going to present you one part of our project, one pillar of our project, meaning the behavioral change methodology that we have developed within NEUROCLIMA project framework.
Excellent. Thank you, Stefan. So just so you know, we have a few questions for you. I have posted the link to the survey in the chat, so you can click on it and respond to the first question. The questions will change, but the link will remain the same. And with that, I want to present Ioannis from Novelco, that will present the deliberation platform and show us how we can use it. Ioannis, are you there?
Thank you very much, Odysseus, and hi, everyone. Please let me know if you can see my screen. I will be sharing in a moment. Initially, I would like to show you a video demonstration of Deliberate that, as Odysseus mentioned, is our deliberation platform and is a product of Novelco. Please let me know if you can see or hear.
Welcome to Deliberate, where every voice shapes policy through the power of AI-driven deliberation. As we navigate the homepage, you're seeing a dynamic feed of open deliberation topics. Behind this interface, our platform leverages AI technology to organize discussions semantically, helping users discover relevant conversations more intuitively. Here we're entering a specific deliberation on revision of the directive on driving licenses. Notice how our machine learning clustering algorithm has automatically organized public feedback into 3 distinct opinion clusters. When selecting a cluster, our solution presents the most representative comments and a concise summary. Our technology enables semantic clustering of arguments, aiding policymakers in understanding public opinion landscapes. Policymakers also have access to the raw feedback data, so they can always examine the original comments. The dashboard offers policymakers a comprehensive analytics view powered by our data visualization engine. Here you can track participation metrics, engagement trends, and emerging opinion patterns. Our sentiment analysis algorithms identify the most impactful feedback, while temporal analytics highlight shifting public opinions over time. The search functionality demonstrates our semantic search capabilities. Rather than simple keyword matching, we use vector embeddings to understand conceptual relationships. Searching for artificial intelligence will find discussions about machine learning or neural networks, even if those exact terms weren't used. When activating the AI summary feature, our extractive-abstractive summarization pipeline condenses hundreds or thousands of comments into concise insights. Now we're creating a new deliberation on the future of work. Behind this simple interface, our system is preparing a sophisticated discussion framework. As comments begin coming in, our real-time processing pipeline will analyze linguistic patterns to detect emerging topics, map argument structures to identify premises and conclusions, detect potential misinformation through factual verification modules, balance representation across demographic groups through our fairness algorithms. The topics section provides a bird's eye view of all active and past deliberations. Our analytics engine tracks engagement metrics across different demographics and geographic regions, helping identify which issues resonate with specific communities. Finally, the users section offers insights into participation patterns. Deliberate facilitates transparent and effective collaboration between citizens and policymakers, revolutionizing participatory democratic processes on a large scale.
Thanks everyone for watching. I can now show you some information in particular from Deliberate itself. This is the login page that you can visit by writing on your web browser www.deliberate.gr. As we can see here, we have two options. We can either create an account at this point, although first we have to accept terms and conditions. This can then redirect us to the option of creating it with our own username and password or using our Google credentials. Once we log in to Deliberate, we have also implemented this brief tool that familiarizes the users with the environment. For example, here it explains to us that all of these topics are presented through usually an image, which is an optional thing. What is important is to contain a title and a description. Now, on the bottom side, we can see that there is a number of views, comments, number of trends, which represents how many clusters of similar in concept feedbacks have been put together so far, as well as what is the sentiment of the users so far, which are against, which are in favor, and which are neutral. This is also presented to us in a pie chart. We can also share a topic that is in our interest across the social media if we would like. Now, for NEUROCLIMA, we have created our own topic in terms of the forum creation and collaboration with the partners of Work Package 3. What that is, how can citizens best contribute to green policy making in times of climate crisis? By clicking here, we see that we can also get a better understanding of what this topic discusses about from the description. That is, in an era of escalating climate risks, citizen engagement is more vital than ever, etc., etc. We also have the option to agree or disagree with the actual topic. Again, as we saw in the tour, we get an idea of how many views there have been so far, comments, replies, and trends. And we have the chance, providing that we have created an account and logged in, to comment. In this case, we can either post our own comment here, and then clicking post, or we can reply to a comment that is already there if we wish to express something in particular to that corresponding comment. We can also upvote and downvote, and in that way engage more into this deliberative process. Now, as we saw, it's also a possibility for the policy making to have an in-depth understanding of how the thread evolves through time, and that happens through the dashboard, as we saw on the video, where they also have the chance to create a new deliberation if they would like to do so. Here we get information as to the history, meaning how many cons, pros, and neutrals we had so far, the total active users, as well as all of the latest topics, along with their individual information, the most popular feedback, the most recent clusters, as well as which are the most popular keywords for the users to get a better understanding without having to go through every single feedback in order to get the gist. I would also like to mention that Deliberate is a platform that can be used on a desktop computer as well as on a mobile device. In both cases, we see this top-down view where they can scroll through the various topics. And if they like something, they can click on it, get an idea. And of course, the purpose of the session today is to promote our engagement through the topic that we have created, and we will learn more about this in a moment. Now, something else that we are working on is the policy recommendations, meaning that after we have collected feedback on a particular topic, and this feedback, of course, has been analyzed, and we will be creating our trends, we then have the opportunity to generate an output file which consists of recommendations, meaning which are those points that the users find important for the particular policy to serve as improvements. So the algorithm actually collects the feedback from the users, converts that into recommendations, and offer those to the policymaker, who again is the person who has created the actual topic. Here we get an example. We have the executive summary for someone to understand what this policy is about, and the policy recommendations in this case are separated into two sections with their own title as well as description about what the recommendations are, and then analysis of the methodology, topic trends, and anything related that led to this generation. That would be from me at this point. Thank you very much. And please let me know if you have any questions during the session or after. I will be very happy to help you in order to increase our engagement and participation on our first topic.
Thanks, Ioannis. Now I will ask you to complete the short survey that we have. The link is in the chat. We have a few questions. I'm going to change them. And just so we can see the results, let me share my screen. Okay. We have a few more questions related to the presentation that you just saw. So please let us know your background and what best describes what you do before I can go to the next one. Okay. So now that you have seen the presentation on NEUROCLIMA dialogues, let us know what you think about the platform.
We can also see someone voting, the screen of someone voting.
Yes, yes.
Positively.
It's this is the testing voting that I'm using. But yes. Okay, thank you for that. Are you aware of any other similar digital solution or tool with the one that we just presented? Okay, and one final question regarding the Deliberate platform. And I'm going to give the floor to Stefanos right away. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to give the floor to Stefanos for the next presentation. You can continue voting. The survey will be open, and I'm going to just change the questions as we speak. So, Stefanos.
Okay, thank you very much, Odysseas. I just informed that you cannot see me changing the slide. So
presentation mode, please, Stefanos.
Yes. Is it okay now? No, it's not. Okay.
No, it's not coming up.
Okay. But now you can see it, right?
Now we can see it, yeah.
Okay. Do you mind if I leave it in this and not in full mode? Because I assume that you will not see changing my slides.
It's okay, it's okay. We can see it.
Oh, okay, super. Thank you very much. Thank you very much all for being here. I'm Stefanos Alevizos. As I told you, I'm a psychologist and I'm working as a postdoctoral researcher in EASIS NGO in Greece. EASIS is one of the partners of NEUROCLIMA project. And as Ioannis was describing the deliberative platform, etc., I felt the need to somehow, in brackets, steal 2 minutes from my presentation and say few words about NEUROCLIMA project. That it is NEUROCLIMA project is an Horizon project, a 3-year research and innovation initiative, as you can see. The final product, the final goal, the ultimate goal of the project, Ioannis described it. But before this, we are working closely to collect all the necessary infos and data. Ioannis already mentioned about the work of Work Package 3. But we collect all the necessary infos and data regarding the development of this platform. Of course, we will test it in most of the countries, in Belgium, in Greece, in Ireland, in Cyprus, in Portugal. We are going to test our platform, our digital solution, to see how it works with different personas, different people, such as policymakers, journalists, youth. We are aiming to include people from marginalized groups, different levels. So we are hoping that this platform will be, this nervous system, this digital solution, this platform will be a really nice tool for people to encourage them to adapt to climate change. This is the ultimate goal. And towards this adjustment towards this journey of climate adaptation, we need something very, very important, that it is the behavioral change. So in this part of our today's presentation, I will try shortly to introduce you to our behavioral change framework that we have so far developed in NEUROCLIMA project. It is a continuous work, but we have started working for this project, the behavioral change. What is a behavioral change? How we can encourage people to change their attitudes, etc., and to make it stable. So in this part of our presentation, I'm going to introduce you how we worked for our behavioral change framework, that it starts with individual actions, how people feel, think, decide, and finally behave towards climate issues, and connects these actions with a greater change both in society and institutions, and hopefully to our culture, to our mentality, on how people we start discussing about climate issues, how we are going to analyze them, internally analyze them, and adjust to any of these changes. This framework is a result of three-level work, because we had a really thoroughly literature review. We searched about relative theories. We had workshops among the participants, and we asked people, policymakers, we interviewed people, policymakers and citizens about this behavioral change and climate participation in general. Our ultimate goal is to help people, not only people, but also institutions, to adapt to climate change in a way that it is scalable, practical, and inclusive. Because, as I told you, apart from all the other things that we do in NEUROCLIMA, we also targeting to marginalized people, people from different groups. So, for us, this is the main heading. Climate adaptation is not a technical or environmental issue. Of course, it's not just a technical or environmental issue. It's actually an issue of how people, as I told you, behave, think, act, feel about climate issues. And in this part, we have climate behavioral change. And what is behavioral change as a question? Behavioral change is surely not giving information people on what to do. Behavioral change, as you can see, is helping, encouraging people to see their attitudes, to see their values, to analyze them, to criticize them, to change them, and adopt new ones, new attitudes and values. Behavioral change is to encourage people work together between citizens, policymakers, and including technology issues. So this collective work. And of course, behavioral change is about encouraging people taking part to the decision-making procedures in issues that affect their lives, meaning including the climate issues. So in NEUROCLIMA mentality, in NEUROCLIMA perspective, in NEUROCLIMA ecosystem, we bring together citizens, policymakers, and technology in a system that connects data, emotions, and decisions. Let's go a little bit deeper in this behavioral change issue. And as some of you have heard me before saying, we have two main words in this part of NEUROCLIMA work. The main two words are behavior and change. So for us, behavior is a part of a greater ecosystem, including social norms, emotions, technology, structures. So we keep this as a main issue, that behavior is something greater and something that belongs to an ecosystem of different levels and values. Change, the real change happens when people are empowered to act, communities co-create solutions, institutions adopt and sustain these changes. In a few words, the real change happens when individual actions are supported by institutions and society. In this way, and based on this logic, NEUROCLIMA wants to make personal actions into something greater, actions of society, attitudes of society, part of our culture. How we worked? As I told you, we worked in a three-level procedure. We searched about theories, we ran workshops, and we had interviews. Why? And we asked people about climate participation. Why we did this? Because we need, for the behavioral change perspective, it was a need to search and decode the journey from intention to action, from how people think that they want to act and how finally they act. And decoding, next to this decoding, this mapping of this journey, we have the super important role of AI that can support this journey and this procedure. For the literature review, we included many theories that they are evidence-based theories related to climate issues. And of course, we linked them with certain AI features, meaning prediction, feedback, and participation. These three main features of the AI next to these theories of behavioral change. And which are the theories? These are the four theories. Theory of planned behavior. People, to make people act, you must make them want to act. Norm activation model, meaning a very important theory linked to NEUROCLIMA theme, meaning that people act to change only if they feel responsible for the problem and for the situations that must be changed. Trans-theoretical model, the change happens in stages, and self-determination theory, that change starts when people feel autonomy, competence, and connected with each other. All this combined with, I'm still saying, combined with the AI functions, such as targeted messages based on the personality of each user, targeted messages, track their behavior and their change and their actions, and of course, motivated messages that make them want to participate. We don't only want people start changing the behavior, but we want this behavior to be lasted. So we introduced to our model also the science of scaling, a very interesting part that our colleagues from Polimi focused on that, meaning that they searched about scaling out, meaning that the real change happens and the change lasts if we can test and encourage people to behave in a different way in many situations. Scaling up, meaning that we must, for the change to last, it must be part of these institutions and organizations. And scaling deep, meaning the ultimate goal, meaning that we have to introduce to our mentality, to our culture, new attitudes. This is the important part of behavioral change. The first thing is to start the change, and the second issue is to last the change. As a final note, because I know that I'm 2 minutes more. Apologies for that. We focus on the role of AI in climate change adaptation. And we focused on 5 main characteristics of AI that can be a useful guide and companion to our journey towards climate change adaptation, meaning AI as watchdog, AI meaning that AI can can spot the red flags and dangers when a change is happening. AI as predictor, meaning that AI can spot trends on behavior. AI as translator, a very important feature, meaning that AI can translate in many brackets the knowledge to a friendliest knowledge to all these people that I have already talked about, journalists, policymakers, youth, students, etc. AI as a knowledge co-creator, this is an important also issue because change, as we saw in our literature, change happens when people feel trust with the technology, and the technology is transparent. So AI can be used by our users to co-create the knowledge, and AI as an optimizer, meaning that collects data and makes our tools better. So, as a last sentence, I would like to say that behavioral change in NEUROCLIMA perspective is something that starts by person, individual actions, focuses on how people feel, act, analyze, intend, and finally act regarding climate issues, and how these actions can be a part of a greater systems, groups, society, and of course, our culture and mentality. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stefane, for presenting us this. I hope everybody found it interesting. I see that you have been responding to one of my questions. I have just a few more, and I'm sharing the screen so we can see what is happening. And okay, so we want to know how aware you are of these initiatives. So EU mission on climate adaptation, EU strategy on climate adaptation, and the EU Green Deal. It's important because the European Union, European Commission always publishes so many policies, so many initiatives, but it helps us to see what's the level of awareness that people have. So let us know about that one. Okay. Just 2 more questions. So now that we have seen both the Deliberate platform and the presentation by Stefanos, which of these factors do you believe most influence people's willingness to adapt? So how would you rate them? You need to rank them from the most important to the least important. Okay. So these are the most frequent answers. Okay, financial incentives, yeah. Great. And finally, just the free question, if you want to share any other comments, any suggestions, any concerns, you're free to do that. Let me stop sharing because this may be something that you wouldn't like to share, to show. So thank you very much for attending this webinar. This webinar has been already recorded. We're going to share the recording with you, and are also going to share the link to the questionnaire just in case we haven't responded during the session. And of course, feel free to communicate with us, to ask us anything else that crosses your mind regarding this platform. Let me say that NeuroClima doesn't have only the Deliberate platform. We have a full platform of tools, and we'll be happy to share more information with you about them. So once again, thank you so much. I think that we're on time. We managed to finish in just 40 minutes. Thanks again for being with us, and have a great afternoon.
And please don't forget to follow us on social media and informed by our site regarding NeuroClima activities.
Please follow NeuroClima on social media, and you can find the website on the chat.
And
connect to the platform, the Deliberate platform as well.
And I saw Teresa and a very interesting newsletter.
Exactly. Subscribe to the newsletter from the NeuroClima, website. Thank you everyone for joining in today. As Odysseas said, you will be receiving the recording along with the Wood Club link in case you want to edit or add answers to the questions. Thank you very much. And the next session will be in November. We will update the NeuroClima website, and we will let you know, and we will hoping you will join us again. Thank you very much for today.
Thanks everyone.